Welcome to On Thick Ice, a podcast about navigating relationship intricacies by two people who are just trying to make one work. I'm Emily.
And I'm John. Each week, we'll be tackling the pressing issues we all face in our relationships but rarely address head on. Today, we're talking about digital privacy. Everything from sharing passwords to whether or not you should soft launch your new boyfriend or girlfriend on Instagram. Social media and the internet have the potential to make relationships incredibly complicated, so we're going to try to break it down for you here. So before we get into this topic, let's go ahead and define the difference between privacy versus secrecy. So privacy is about being on your own, with your own thoughts and your own experiences that you don't really have to share with others. Secrecy is the intentional hiding of information from others. So the difference in this is really the intent and often the shame and guilt that comes from keeping a secret.
So we're not talking about secret keeping. We're talking about privacy, right? We're not talking secrecy. We're not advocating for secrecy in this episode. So just want to put that out there at the top. Okay, so I want to start out just with some statistics that I found.
Oh, yeah?
It kind of blew my brain a little bit with this whole thing.
Math.
You know how the math ain't mathin' in my brain.
Yes.
Roughly 50% of people share passwords with their partner, and 26% store intimate things on their partner's devices. That I wasn't quite sure what intimate meant. Maybe like nudes or like sex tape. You took a picture of me and I know it's on your phone. Like, I don't know. Intimate seems like a very weird word for like, oh, I logged into my bank account on your device.
Yeah, and a more like, if I were to think about this in like a physical sense, I would, I left my underwear on your couch.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, I guess we have to assume that this is the more risque content.
Yeah, getting a little nudie up in here.
And that's kind of a high percentage though. 26% store intimate things on other people's phones. That's a danger zone.
I mean, whatever. 80% of people say you should have some privacy online and offline, but 70% also say that their relationship is more important to them than their privacy. 61% of people admit that they don't want their partner to know about some of their online activities, particularly the content of their conversations with others.
Mm-hmm.
And 38% of people think their partner's activities should be visible to them. 31% admit to spying. Now, what these statistics tell me is that people don't know what the hell they want. Because it's like, yeah, I think we should have privacy. But also, I'm going to spy on your shit.
Yeah, I mean, this whole topic is some gray area in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's all good. Now, I actually did find some fun, possibly like opposite perspective of you.
Okay.
Like, I think you took this more of like what couples like can do to share privacy.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I went on the opposite scope of that.
I was so shocked.
I was looking for more of like the people that are breaching privacy.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So an article that I saw, can't remember exactly where it was, but it was 1,600 people in North America were a part of this survey. Let's see, what was the initial breakdown here? So 50% of people in a relationship admitted to snooping. Digital snooping. Now, whatever that means, checking their phones, social media profiles, emails, exactly, so on and so forth. Now, another question in that survey is snooping okay?
Okay.
This one was a little interesting. So 48% of women say yes. 31% of men say yes. Mm-hmm. Is snooping okay? It's a little unbalanced there.
I think more women are willing to snoop because we're just gatherers. We like to gather information.
Yeah, and I think dudes just don't give a shit.
I don't know if that's necessarily true, but...
Well, 31% anyways. So, moving on. 31% of people think it's okay to snoop if they suspect something was going on.
Okay, fair.
So yeah, and then just to take that a little bit farther, 61%, however, said it's never okay to look through a partner's phone. So I think for me, like I think I fall in this category. Like I really do respect digital privacy, and I mean you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think you do.
Yeah,
I mean, as far as I know.
Yeah, I mean I've been in that situation, and I know what that's like. But
right.
But what I will say about that is, when you do suspect. Like there's a lot of things going on there. And normally when you think something's going on, it probably is.
Right.
So out of those that snooped, 43% of them said that they did not find anything romantically incriminating on the device. 34% did learn their partner was flirting with the other person. Now, the definition of flirting was not clear.
Mm-hmm.
personally, what I feel like there's some, it's really, I had a
Subjective?
subjective, yes, but all, yeah, I guess discretionary was the word I was looking for,
Yeah.
because that could take many forms.
Right.
I personally, when I think of like what does flirting mean, I think that there is a person that they're messaging, they're insinuating certain things by the way that they're structuring their verbal choice of communication.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I see that. So then moving on from that, 21% found out that their partner was indeed cheating on them. So realistically, 55% of those that snooped found some shit. And that wasn't even the portion of people that suspected.
Yeah.
So
Been there.
if you think about that, if you look at just the subset of folks that suspected, these numbers would probably be drastically higher.
Right.
So very interesting stats. So that is the end of Math Corner for me.
Yeah, that was a lot of numbers. I think I blacked out.
It was. Yeah. So now that we bored you with all the fun numbers that we just went over, how much should one be expected to share, and when should they be expected to share it?
Okay, so when it comes to sharing your information, you have to assess the risk. So like when it comes to like sharing passwords, like I'm going to give you full access, I'm going to give you my PIN number to my phone, I'm going to give you my passwords to my social media. Like if you're keeping secrets, then they could see something that you don't want them to see, and that's a whole beast in and of itself. Like if you're keeping secrets but you're like, here, take my stuff, I don't know what kind of trouble you're asking for, but you're going to get it.
Well, also on top of that, you have the accidental, like you don't actually have anything to hide, but it just so happens to be that perfect moment when you hand your phone to your new partner and you receive that text from the old partner. That is I think that's the biggest anxiety that people have. It's like, you're not going to find anything, but you might see something.
Right. And that happens. And like, I have a kind of story about this. So my boyfriend from high school that I was with for like years, this is how we broke up actually. We had been together for a really long time, for teenagers anyway. We were kind of at that point. Like, I don't think it was ever like talked about, but like, if he was in the bathroom and his phone rang and it was something important, like I would answer it or I would pick it up to take it to him or whatever. And I remember this specific morning, that's exactly what happened. Like he was waiting on an important call for like a job or something like that. I see his phone ringing. I pick it up to take it to him, walking over to take it to him. Phone call ends. I see text message on the screen. It's like very incriminating. Oh, I can't wait to see you. Blah, 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 blah. And it was not the first time that I had caught him cheating in this exact same way. So that's kind of a risk you gotta take if you know that the person has access to your shit. I wasn't snooping, but I found it anyway.
Right. Well, in like my scenario, I don't know if you remember this, but I think it was one night we were sitting on the couch and I received a message.
Right.
And it was one of those intimate things I think we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting next to you and I'm just like, all right, how do I do this?
I have no memory of this.
So what I did is I told you, I was like, hey, so I just received a text message. This is not somebody I talk to anymore, but I don't want to hide this and you find it by mistake. Right. So I told you. And I was like, yeah, so I just got this nudie picture of this person.
I legit do not remember this. Yeah. I must have been drunk.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was early in our relationship. That was so early on. I was also very drunk, and I normally wouldn't remember that, but I think it was just so like one of those moments.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, fuck.
Oh, shit.
What do I do?
What do I do?
It's like it's like, okay, did she see it? Because I just, I opened it not thinking a thing, and I'm just sitting right next to you, and I'm like, oh, shit. Did she see it? If I didn't tell her, would that be a bigger problem?
Was it boobies or ginies?
No, I think it was underwear. It was soft core, I guess. It's just funny. Like, I mean, that situation alone can just destroy a relationship.
100%.
And there is no intent at all.
Right.
And I don't remember the circumstance. I don't remember how long we had been together at that time and what should or shouldn't have been expected by any means. But yeah, it was one of those moments where I was like, damn it, this is a defining moment in our relationship. I have to make the right decision.
I guess you did, because I don't remember it.
Good. Or did you steal it?
We're going to be having a conversation once we end this recording. Another thing, you're potentially risking your information and safety if you're sharing too much or too soon if there's a breakup. If you're exchanging this information, like you're exchanging passwords, you're exchanging before you really know each other, you don't know how the other person might react if you have a big fight or a breakup. Like, you're not even thinking about it, and all of a sudden, you have a big fight, or you have a Ross and Rachel, we were on a break moment. You're just worried about being upset about the fight. They're in your shit, changing your bank statements, they're posting shit on social media, they're doing all sorts of shit in your stuff, and you have no idea. Once you find out, it's too late. They had your information. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So I think that the exchange of information, the exchange of passwords, or the maybe not even the exchange, but maybe the ritual of, okay, now it's okay if my phone buzzes, if you pick it up and you're like, hey, you got a text. That's a milestone that happens in every relationship at some point. I just think that when you're sharing passwords, when you're doing the exchange of information, it shouldn't be a way to establish trust. Like, to me, people who come out of the gate with, I have nothing to hide, they're usually the ones who have something to hide. Like, if that's the first thing you're saying, you've been together for like a week and you're like, here, have my phone, I got nothing. Like, you're probably a little shady. That's just my instinct, which is kind of why I was so iffy about you in the beginning, because you were like, yeah, sure, whatever, take my phone. And I was like, what the hell is this guy up to? And then I spied on you and you were really boring and I never found anything. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So thanks for revealing my secret.
that you're boring.
I guess the mystery is out. The
John
image,
gets no bitches.
the image that I'm trying to build with my voice and all of those things, how people envision me, has just been deflated to the guy sleeping with no secrets. So
But
that is pretty lame. You're right, I guess. So
basically, I just think that if you do choose to password share, it should come at a point after the trust has already been established. It shouldn't be a way to establish trust. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, but going back to your original point, how much should you be expected to share and when, so on and so forth. I mean, personally, I don't think that there should be any expectation of sharing anything at any time.
Right.
Period. I mean, that's just something that has to kind of happen.
Yeah.
Like I guess, earlier on, you should expect nothing, need time to clear the loose ends up, because when you're in an early relationship, you who knows what was going on the week before, right?
Yeah.
You got to clean up those loose ends. So give that some time.
Mm-hmm.
But then it happens.
Right.
You laugh at something on your phone and your partner says, "What's so funny?"
Right.
And you instinctively just like hand over your phone, and when you're in the middle of that handoff, you are like, "Holy shit, I just did that. There's no pulling back now." So you just reluctantly, like, you're dedicated at this point. You have to hand over the phone. There's no backing down, because now if you do, now it's suspect.
Then it's a thing.
Right.
You can't pull out.
So you hand the phone. Oh, this is the funny part. And you just hold it, hoping that the person doesn't take it. Because you have no idea what's there yet. You have no idea what you're hiding. And you're probably not hiding anything, but it's like being followed by a cop. It's like...
I was going to say, it's like when you're a teenager and you want to show your mom a picture on your phone, and then you're like, oh God, don't swipe right, don't swipe right.
Right, exactly. I think it's moments like those that expose themselves, where you just kind of like natively develop that sharing of digital privacy.
Yeah.
But I do think, regardless, I think that there has to be a time frame to clean up loose ends.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it's more of it should be anyway, and that's kind of what I was trying to say. Like, it should be more of a process. Like, it's just something that naturally evolves over time. You realize you're comfortable enough to be like, my phone's dead. What's your password so I can text my mom or whatever?
Yeah.
On the other hand, something that I think that should not evolve over time and should just be a conversation right up front. Dating apps.
Okay.
When do you delete the dating apps? That's, I mean, whether you met on the app or you didn't meet on the app, I mean, if you're single, you probably got the Tinder, the Bumble, the Hinge, the OkCupid. I don't even know if people still use OkCupid. You probably got all that shit on your phone. So, I don't know. I don't have a personal insight into this because, like, I think if I remember correctly, I was definitely I was at least on Tinder. I don't think I was, like, actively using it, And I really don't think I was like actively talking to anybody else. Actually, I remember now that I'm saying it, I remember, because when we first started dating, I wasn't using Tinder and I wasn't actively talking to anybody because I had a huge crush on one of my coworkers. So I was like full on focused on that when you came out of the blue. But I think because of that, because I wasn't really using them anyway, after like a date or two where I was like, okay, I think like this guy is someone that I'm going to want to date, I just deleted them. I didn't tell you or say anything about it because it just didn't seem to matter too much to me at that point.
Right.
You know? It wasn't a whole thing, but I think that's mainly because I wasn't using them anyway. I wasn't talking to anyone. I wasn't active on them, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But a lot of people are still active and still talking to other people when they start dating someone before they're exclusive. So when do you delete them?
So I think for myself, like I did have dating apps, a dating app or two installed.
Right.
But I never got a date on a dating app. Not once. So they were more just like a dormant feature of my cell phone. I was more of an observer, and I don't know, I guess I was pretty lame. But I did also have a very active external life as well. So I didn't really need apps.
Yeah, you had an active social life.
Yeah. So, but I did have
I did not.
them. I did have them. Well, I think I had them. I don't know. I never used them. It's so hard to even say. So if I did or didn't, and I probably didn't delete them, but that's probably just because I forgot about them.
I mean, you don't still have Tinder, do you?
No.
Okay, so it got deleted eventually.
Do you know how many phones I've been through since we've been together? Come on. Jeez.
I'm just saying, you said you never deleted them.
I would have to
that shit is like herpes. It follows you everywhere.
I would have to try to keep it on my phone, right?
Right. Okay, so since you and I are clearly not the experts on this, we're one of the magic 2010 couples that did not meet on a dating app. We met in a bar, like we were in the 90s or something. I went to the internet to kind of find out what people thought was the right time for this kind of stuff. So according to the internet, it seems like the general consensus is between 3 to 5 dates. Like that's when you should get rid of the apps. To me, that kind of makes sense because it feels like you have enough time to know if it's someone that you're going to continue dating. Even if you're not exclusive, you know, you kind of have a feeling like after the third or fourth date, you know if there's going to be a fifth or sixth date, right? Seems like a good time to me. And it also feels like that's probably a good time to stop actively pursuing new people. So it just seems to make sense, you know? Some experts, though, they say you don't have to do it until after you've discussed exclusivity.
I like it.
And then you should make it a point to delete them together. Like you have a conversation, you sit down, you delete them together, you both know that they're off your phones. That's it. But that being said, I think that's really good advice to kind of do it together, to make a thing out of it, to, you know, sit down and be like, okay, like this is it. We're deleting the apps. We're exclusive. We're moving forward. But there's always going to be people like me who delete them on their own accord, and I think that's fine. But you can't expect the other person to do the same without talking about it with them. Like in our case, I probably deleted the apps a long while before you did, but we never talked about it. So it would have been hypocritical for me to be mad at you if you didn't do the same thing right away.
All right, yeah. So this topic is kind of a funny one to me. Like, I'm just trying to imagine the fictitious third to fifth date conversation. Like, you know, like how does this even go? Like, do you just like put it out there like Joe Gatto? Like, hey, how was your day? Oh, great, that's awesome. You know, I deleted my dating apps, right? Larry. No. Or is it more like a game? Like 1, 2, 3, delete all sex apps. Whoever wins gets sex. Or do you do it like super cash? Like, hey, so thanks for dinner for the third or fifth time. Just wanted you to know the steak was super tender, so I deleted the app.
Dun, dun, dun.
All jokes aside, though, like, what how would that conversation go for you? Because I like the Joe Gatto route personally, but
I think it goes the same route as I don't think it necessarily, you know, 3 to 5 dates, that's whatever. It goes hand in hand with the exclusivity thing. I remember perfectly our exclusivity talk. It was maybe like 2 weeks in, and I'd spent like every night at your apartment. Yes, I'm a slut.
She just didn't want to go home.
Yeah. And I looked at
Home
you.
to her mother, not another partner. Just to be clear.
Can I finish my story?
Sorry.
God. No, we were sitting on the couch, and I looked at you and I said, "Am I your girlfriend?" And you looked at me and you were like, "Yeah." And that was that. That was our exclusivity talk.
So that's when you deleted your apps.
Well, no, I had already done that.
I'm-
But usually those things happen very simply, right? Like it's it's not a rom-com. It's not fucking an episode of Friends where you're like, "What are we?" Like it just happens. And I think that in that moment, you find the moment. You're like, "Okay, well, we're together. Yeah, cool. So I'm going to delete Tinder. You cool to delete Tinder? Okay, cool. Done." I think if you're a casual person, it'll happen casually.
Yeah.
If you're a more intense person, it might happen a little more intensely. But it just happens.
It's like an interrogation.
Like an interrogation.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I think in general, I do agree with what society thinks is appropriate. I think 3 to 5 dates is a good time frame, or in my case, just to leave them as dormant as they were before you came into my life.
Let it be.
but I am still a little stuck on the whole deleting part. Like at this point, like we haven't started sharing passwords and so on and so forth. So like, how do you really know? Like we're really talking like the honor system at this point.
I mean, when you're that early on in a relationship, isn't everything kind of on the honor system?
It is, but some people are douchebags and some aren't.
Yeah, but you gotta. That's the whole thing of dating. You gotta hope that they're not.
Well, let me rephrase that. Okay. I don't know if it's necessarily all people are douchebags. I think that some people
All
are
men are douchebags.
Some people are just very bashful and they don't say, "Hey, am I your girlfriend?" So the other person ignorantly continues on the path that they're on and they just continue to do what they do. And, because there was no clarity, yes, they are seen as a douchebag, I suppose.
Look, after a certain amount of time that you spend with a person, whether you talk about it or not, it's just douchey if you're doing other things.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just saying
that's
not what this episode is about, but I'm just saying.
Okay, fair enough. I will stop talking.
Okay, good. Okay, so you get through all the conversations, you delete the apps, you whatever. How much privacy is too much privacy? Like, how much privacy is just out of the realm of expectation in a relationship, right?
Okay.
So, I don't think, it's just a fact. Everyone is entitled to privacy. That's just a non-negotiable. How much you personally need is up to you, I think. But, I don't know, like, if you can't borrow your partner's phone or laptop for any reason ever, that might be an issue. Maybe you're someone who you're just possessive over your stuff. It's not the information inside. It's just like, this is my phone. Don't touch my phone. Sure, fine, whatever. My phone dies, and I need to call my mom and tell her we're on our way, and I can't use your phone to do that? Like, come on. That's a little too much, in my opinion. I don't think anyone is entitled to another person's phone or private stuff, but if you're not ever willing to share anything, then you're probably either hiding something or you have some serious boundary issues that you need to work through, because that's going to start to seep into other places. But then on the flip side of that, you got how much privacy is not enough. And this is where I get into one of my favorite phenomenons that the internet has blessed us with: joint social media accounts. These things intrigue me. They bring me so much joy. Look, I'm a bad person. I love to gossip. And joint social media accounts are like fuel to the gossip fire. I love them. We've all seen joint social media accounts. If you haven't, I don't know what rock you're living under. But basically, you've got Jim and Pam Halpert with a wedding picture as the profile pic. They have one Facebook account. It sends a very clear message if you're sharing your social media accounts. And I'm not saying that there are no good reasons for a joint account. Maybe I'm kind of saying that. Like, if neither of you really aren't into social media, but like you use Facebook or Instagram as a photo album, like a photo sharing thing. Like maybe it makes sense that you just share one account that you both dump your pictures into, but everyone is going to speculate about the intent behind it. It's just going to happen. To me, a joint social media account just screams insecurity. Like my first thought when I see a joint social media account is, okay, which one of you cheated? And I'm going to scroll through and I'm going to figure out. I'm going to send it to the group chat. I'm going to find out which one of you cheated, when, how many times, with who, have you been to therapy? I'm going through it all.
That's a strong jump, man.
What?
Going straight to who cheated.
Come on. Like, come on. You wouldn't think that?
I never thought about it like that, no. But I also don't really do the socials.
You're right.
So
you're a different generation. What can I say? It sends a message that one of you can't be trusted to have an account separate from your partner. It's all got to be shared. That's just the message it sends. And another message it sends, like a lack of autonomy. Like you're no longer individuals. You're one. Like if you have this joint Facebook account, how is anybody supposed to know who's liking what and who they're talking to and who's commenting and whatever? Like, do you both really like that throwback picture of John Stamos on Instagram? Do you not have an original thought anymore? Like, you're one. You're no longer two. You're one.
I was thinking about this. And if we had a joint account, I'm just thinking of that Facebook pixel lingering around and collecting all that data on both of our activities. And I could only imagine the targeted ads we would get. Like
crypto, cats, Taylor Swift, Discovery Plus.
Hey, Gold Rush.
All right, I'll give you credit where credit. You're very into HGTV right now. I'll give you that one.
I can't hip it. I just got suckered in. But yeah, I mean, I can see like the Peloton, CrossFit. You know, we both kind of dabble in those things, and they've crossed over, so that's lame.
Yeah. Shout out Logan Aldridge. Lots
of SF stuff. You know, we like SF stuff. After looking at that, I guess it's still pretty lame.
Yeah.
So, a little underwhelming, folks. My apologies.
I don't know. It's just like, is there nowhere online that you're allowed to have, like, just for your friends or just for yourself? And why not? That's what it says to me. Like, social media is a place for you and yourself to interact with, well, now it's for people to sell you things, but to interact with your friends and see things. It's supposed to be a personalized experience. So, if you have to share it with someone, what that tells me is you're either 14 and your mom looks over your stuff to make sure you're not doing stuff you shouldn't be, or you're a cheater and your wife is looking over your stuff to make sure you're not doing stuff that you shouldn't be. I think, honestly, the one acceptable version of joint Facebook accounts is grandparents who don't know how to do anything and they only have one email address between them.
Or do they?
They don't.
Look, you know. Grandma's in there Googling the blue pill. You know what happens next, right?
Grandpa has a heart attack.
No. Grandpa logs in and is now getting targeted ads. Grandma is a saboteur.
Oh, gosh. Well, you know what? If any of you have a joint social media account, if you have ever had one, if you know someone who has one, can you please just, like, DM me on Instagram or email us or call us, because they're so fascinating to me. I want to know all about them. Like, call me, spill the tea, please. Okay, so on the topic of social media, how important is it to be Instagram official? For all the elder millennials like John out there, think Facebook official, okay?
Hey, look, if it's not on Facebook, it ain't real, man.
You're not real. So there's this new phenomenon that, as someone who loves gossip, is just, I'm loving it. But this new phenomenon that has popped up since my dating days. I kind of have to explain this to John because he didn't really know what I was talking about when I brought this up. But soft launching, right? If you don't know what soft launching is, like soft launching a boyfriend on social media. It's when you don't post the picture of you guys together like 3 months with the best guy in the world. That's a hard launch. A soft launch is when you're out to dinner and you take a picture of your plate of food, but up in the corner, you can see like the remnants of a male hand. The picture's not about the male hand, but the implication is that you've got a guy that you're talking to, and you think it might become serious, so you're soft launching him onto your Instagram so that people know that you've got a guy, but you're not ready to say it yet. You know, it's so fun. I love finding the soft launches.
You know, if I'm recalling correctly, this sounds a lot like the way a lot of murder mysteries start. Tonight on mysteries that haven't been solved for a really long time, so we made a TV show about it. We take a closer look at the chilling story of Karen Bewhacked. She disappeared, and the only clue is the mystery of the hand in the picture she had in her Instagram post before she went missing.
I mean, you're not wrong. I think I heard an episode of Web Crawlers about that, actually.
Honestly, though, like for me, this soft launching idea, that this is like in the same category as like gender reveals. Like, I just think it's the dumbest shit ever. It's very ritualistic. I feel like you remember Full House when the woman from the other place came to see Jesse and they were married because they walked around the table.
Yes.
Right. You don't really know what you're getting into, but you're now married. Right? It seems like a really weird ritual that, you know, I don't understand it. Don't get it.
I think you're just a little too old for it. You're not of the Instagram age.
No. This is why they created the status. It's complicated.
Right. This is the 2022 version of It's Complicated.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's why I have to separate. You are of the Facebook generation. You are of the in a relationship, single, it's complicated. We are of the sprinkling little seeds so that people know, but you don't have to say it. And you don't just soft launch relationships. Just to give you some context, like you can soft launch anything. You can soft launch a podcast. You can soft launch a pregnancy. You can soft launch anything, really. So it's just the reason that I bring it up is because it feels like before it was cut and dry. Facebook official was you're either Facebook official or you're not. The only people who really used It's Complicated were the people who are still using It's Complicated in 2022. But now you've got this extra step, and it's kind of like it's a dipping your toes into being Instagram official.
Stupid.
Okay, well, there you go. End the show. John says it's dumb. So anyway, it's soft launching or not. Do you need to be Instagram official? Is it necessary? Do you have to say to the internet, this is my partner, this is my boyfriend, this is my girlfriend, this is the person that I'm seeing? I think it comes down to how much emphasis you put on social media in your life. Like, if you both use social media regularly, if you both post to social media regularly, I don't see why you wouldn't. And it doesn't have to be a big thing, but why wouldn't you, just post a picture together, and you don't even have to say, like, oh, this is my boyfriend. You just post a picture together, and then people know, But if one or both of you don't use social media that often, then I don't think you should be offended if the other person doesn't instigate the Instagram officialness of it all,
Yeah, I do know.
I know you know.
I'm a very, very private person, and I just don't like social media.
So then you've got the whole posting pictures of another person. Should you? Are you allowed to? Can you? Do you have to ask? Is that something that needs to be a discussion? I don't know. I think, yeah, maybe it does. Because, like, I know you just said it. You hate social media. You're not on the gram very often, right? And, like, you don't ever want to be on my feed. You don't want to be posted to my stories. Like, very few times have I gotten permission to post you on my shit, And I have to respect that, even though I might want to put pictures of you or us or whatever on my socials. Like, if we take a picture and you're like, yeah, don't show that to anybody, then I gotta not show it to anybody, or else I'm not respecting your privacy and your bodily autonomy. And then, in turn, because you don't like social media, you don't ever post me either. Like, I mean, you put wedding pictures up. I don't even know if you posted wedding pictures or if you just didn't untag yourself from wedding pictures of us that other people put up, now that I think about it. Did you actually upload any wedding pictures of us?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I did the post.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't do the birthday post, you don't do the anniversary post, you know, the whole like shebang that everybody does now. And like, I don't know, I think at first I was offended by it, like when we first started dating, but I think that's just because I was used to dating maybe people around my age, or maybe just people who use social media more. So I felt kind of jealous of other people who were getting these kinds of like social media shout outs. But now that I'm used to it, I don't care, because it doesn't mean anything to me. It's the intent behind it, right?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I don't do that. But I just can't pull myself to do it. I mean, one, I'm a very private person.
Right.
I don't post things on social media. So if I just posted things about you specifically, oh, birthday, anniversary, this, that, the other thing, whatever.
It would just be 2 posts a year.
It would just be me talking about you constantly on my Facebook. And that's not why I don't do it.
Right.
I don't do it because I just think it's really stupid, first off. I don't think it's necessary for the world to know, or well, let me say, the world in my bubble knows how I feel about you. I don't that's for us.
Right.
Like I don't really care if they know, oh man, this was such a tough year for us and we made it through by the skin of our teeth thanks to my wife. Happy birthday.
Those things I hate. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I just, and even beyond that, just the other, it's just so like, it's scripted. It's
Performative.
Yes. It's performative. It's not real. It's, maybe I'll start doing it.
Okay.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to post on your birthday next time, but I'm going to start a huge fight the morning of your birthday. And I am going to post something along these lines. I am going to say, oh, wife, happy birthday. Thank you for not making me breakfast this morning. That was a really douchey thing. And I think next year you should do better. Now, that's just really going to throw people off and make people think I'm a dick. But it's gonna throw a curveball in the industry, and it's gonna be a thing. I'm gonna hard launch this one. I don't know what a hard launch is, but
that's what she said.
Yeah. But no. Seriously though, like to me, when I see people doing that, it's not a differentiator.
Right.
There's nothing special about me going online and telling everybody that my wife is special. What's special to me is when I go out while you're at work or wherever the hell you were and buy you 50 little mini shrimp for your aquarium.
Yes.
Something that you can walk in the house. You just think I forgot your birthday or whatever the event was. And all of a sudden you're just like, oh, what's that?
I go crazy.
And then, oh my God, happy birthday. Here's a card. Here's a hidden balloon. Olive left. Olive is afraid of balloons.
Olive is terrified of balloons.
But yeah, I just, what I do for us is for us.
No, I understand.
It's just how I feel about it.
I understand. And if any of you are offended by what John is saying right now, because he's basically calling you stupid, don't be, because I think that he just doesn't understand that this is like the birthday card of 2020. Like it's not. You're right. I agree with you. It's performative. It's a whole big thing, especially when people get super sappy and like the whole point is to show the world I'm such a great partner because I wrote this really nice thing.
Yes.
That's different. I'm just talking about like, hey, it's your birthday. Here's a cute picture of us. I love you. Like, to me. Alexa? What the hell?
Alexa, stop.
I'm scared.
I don't know what that countdown was for, but we should probably take cover.
I don't even know what I was saying. Now I'm just afraid Alexa's going to rise up and kill me, so I'm going to move on.
All right.
Is it a problem if...
Is it a problem if Alexa is posting birthday posts?
Happy birthday, Alexa! I love you!
Well, who knows what she's going to do now? We're talking to her again.
So is it a problem if the person is posting you on social media, if they don't want to be official, if it's a whole, thing? I think it just depends on the intent behind it. Like, if they're not posting you, if they don't want to go official because they don't post anything, they don't really use their social media, they just maybe don't have it at all, or they don't use it in that personal of a way, kind of like you, it's not a big deal. Like, it's not something that you should be offended by. I mean, you can be upset, but like, it's fine. Like, just get used to it. However, if they're always on social media and they're posting a bunch of stuff and you're the only thing that they're excluding, they don't want to be Instagram official with you, they don't want to put you on their stories, they don't want to soft launch, they don't want to be tagged, but they're always on their phone, they're always on Instagram, that's indicative that they're probably trying to hide something from you or hide you from someone.
Yeah. All right. So now that you've learned that I'm a lame social media, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Novice?
No, not novice. Just somebody who just stays away from it. Just social turtle, maybe.
Recluse?
I don't know what that means. So, is that a turtle?
Yes. Not a hobbit.
Hobbit.
No. What do they
And
call
it's not
it?
a hoarder.
No, when they like the Unabomber. He's a
Infamous.
homebody? No. What is it? Damn it.
I have no idea
Now I gotta Google
at
it.
all what you're trying to say. None at all.
What was the Unabomber? Nope, not a domestic terrorist.
I mean, that's what I was thinking. I don't know what you're saying.
Loner synonym. Let me see. Yeah, recluse, introvert, lone wolf, hermit.
There we go.
Not hobbit, hermit.
Yeah. That was a jump.
I'm leaving that in.
I'm a conch. Oh, God. All right. Oh, God. A hobbit. A social media hobbit. So, according to the internet, there are some simple digital rules that, you should follow in a relationship, starting with cutting the cord sometimes.
Right. So basically, just like making sure you're present with the other person. The article had this word, I don't really like it, but phubbing, like phone snubbing the other person by ignoring them with your phone, which I think is a good point. If you're doing an activity together, you should be present, not on your phone. But if they're just gonna put it out there like that, we're guilty of phubbing because that's how we relax at night. We ignore each other on the couch next to each other with our phones. It's like separate togetherness, right?
Yeah. No, and I think that's really, that works for us.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. I think that cutting the cord is probably more important early on.
Yeah.
Because I do recall, like, when we started dating,
Mhm.
you were very into your phone. Like,
Yeah.
I to a level I had never seen before. And I was in early 30s ish at the time.
Mhm.
So, I wasn't old per se, but I was a little offended at first. Like, I was like, wow, she's constantly on her phone. And
It's not my fault you were boring.
well, it wasn't always boring, you know what I'm saying? But I was a little bit offended. And what I did, though, is I kind of evolved and just kind of met you there because I was bored.
Yeah. Basically, just save the phubbing for when you're an old married couple.
Yes, because that does work very well. We work during the day. We come together in the evenings, sit on the couch, ignore the TV, ignore each other, play with our phones.
Perfect.
And every once in a while, we'll get a little laugh in from Impractical Jokers.
Yes.
All right. Moving on. Number 2, post carefully on social media.
Right. And we've been over this. Basically, just like respect each other's boundaries, try not to overshare. And also, something I didn't mention, but I want to mention, don't do things together just for the Instagram photo op. Like, if you're just doing it because you want to take a picture and you're not actually going to enjoy the activity together, don't do it.
Yeah,
I think that's a good social media rule.
I could agree with that, especially if you need like what was that commercial? Instagram husband? Is that what it was?
Sunset Hard Hands.
Yes, Sunset Hard Hands. Yes, I'm not going. I don't like Sunset Hard Hands.
You are a good Instagram husband, though.
I know. I like doing things.
I know.
That's
For me.
It's a fault of mine. Number 3, set expectations around texting.
Right. Do you need to be in contact all day? Are you someone who needs to like be talking constantly, or else you're gonna feel ignored? Like, is a "hey, I'm heading home" sufficient? Like, know what to expect so that you don't feel offended if they're not communicating the way that you want them to, or if they're communicating too much and you want to be left alone.
Yeah, that one is very important, I would definitely say, because I know for me, I get very wrapped up in my days,
Yes.
and it just time goes. Like I don't even notice it. Like you could text me 3 hours, 3 hours ago, and I have no idea it even happened.
Yeah.
And I literally, my phone's right there. My phone's there. I'm just working.
Yeah. And I'll just blow up your phone knowing that you're not going to text me back anyway. I'm just bored. I'm like, I can't get into the store. I saw a rabbit. Here's a cool leaf. Crunch, crunch, crunch.
Did you eat the leaf?
I stepped on the leaf.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Just wanted to clarify that.
All right.
So, moving on to the last one. Number 4. Beware of micro cheating.
Which I think is kind of the point that we were trying to get to this whole time, right? Like the line between privacy and secrecy and like what you should and shouldn't be sharing. But micro cheating, it is what it is. It's exactly what it sounds like. Cheating is very blatant, obvious. You're going out and you're doing something with someone else. Micro cheating is relative. It's subjective. Maybe you don't like it when your partner only follows models on Instagram because it makes you uncomfortable. Maybe them looking at porn is okay, but if they had an OnlyFans subscription, you wouldn't like that, communicating and following or being friends with their exes, like all that kind of stuff. Just like make your boundaries clear, respect your partners, and you should be good to go.
Yeah, I could agree with some of this.
Okay.
Let me see. I'm trying to think here. So, porn's okay, OnlyFans bad. I've never looked at OnlyFans. I don't exactly know what that is. Is that like a paid service?
Yeah, so OnlyFans is a paid service, and when you subscribe to someone's OnlyFans, like you're paying for that specific person.
Okay.
So, well, here's a conversation we can have on the fly. Porn is fine by me. Like, porn's cool, whatever, do what you're gonna do. But to pay to see one specific person doing or saying whatever, that feels like micro cheating to me. Because it's you're forming a relationship, whether it's parasocial or not, with this person.
So what about if, and just to be clear, I don't see any point in paying for any of this, to be honest. It just, we'll go back to the word stupid. So much free out there. But point is, what about like a paid porn website? So it's not a direct like connection with an individual, but like let's say it's more like fetishy. Like this is what I'm into. This is the place I can find it, but it costs me $30 a month.
It's funny. There's 2 separate Sex and the City episodes that deal with this, and they both are Miranda episodes. So
I'm shocked.
There's one where she finds his, because this was the 90s, his video, and it was spanking, and she teases him about, like, she gives him a little spanking. And then there's one where she's with a guy who can only do it if he's watching porn. And he says, like, when she calls him out on it, he's like, well, I just met you. I've been doing it with this girl for years. It just kind of depends. Like, having
that's an individual connection.
Right. Having a fetishy thing like this guy, I think that's okay. I don't know why you would pay when there's so much free on the internet, but, like, it's fine. Personal connection thing, not great to me.
Yeah. I can see that. I was just curious. Like, I think paying for porn on the internet is stupid, but just looking at the lines here, that's all.
Yes. So, I mean, that's all I got. Basically, just don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole.
And don't soft launch anything around John.
Only hard launch.
You heard it here first. Send your hard launches right to John. onthickIcepod@gmail.com.
On Thick Ice is created, hosted, and produced by Emily and John Shacklet.
To join the conversation, follow us on Instagram and Twitter @onthickIcepod, email us at onthickIcepod@gmail.com, or call our hotline 415-494-7275. Subscribe to On Thick Ice wherever you get your podcasts.